you smiling? I'm not gonna shout to you. Oh, this is supposed to be sending link. I used to forget to close the link. Cynthia, what's your problem? Don't close it. Don't close it. Thank you so much, Rose. Yeah. I don't get because the emails that I'm seeing are saying at atbtechsoft.com.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes,
Good,
ma'am.
good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Good. So, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing great. And you?
Yeah, I'm fine. So, this is Cynthia. So, yes. I don't know why I'm hearing something in the background. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, ma'am.
Okay. I don't know. I'm hearing things on the background. Is it from your
Yes,
end?
I'm just trying to get my guys out of the office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, the session will start 3:15.
Okay.
So you're quite early. So just in case you probably want to share your screen. So towards that time, yeah,
Okay.
you should just let's be sure, I'm seeing it so that every single person can see it as well.
Okay.
Yes. So basically, so if you need me to assist you with anything, like probably if you need me to be sure your screen is showing, if probably you wanna you're gonna have audio with it or something, you wanna be sure it's actually it's well placed or whatever, you could just ask me the question so that exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess you have my screen now.
Okay, yes, I can see it now. Yes,
Okay, so you have it all right?
it's working well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, I didn't get your name, ma'am.
Sorry, my name is Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just put this on mute while we wait for that to happen.
Hello? Hello?
You know?
Okay, so we're set to go live.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, I said we can go live now.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ayene Kundayo, and I want to say thank you for having me for this session. Um, I know it's been overflooded, what the pandemic had done, how the COVID had changed our lives, and what we do as people and as businesses. But I'm just quickly going to discuss a few things on how to handle your virtual life as a would refer to HR systems, virtual systems, as it would refer to every aspect of our lives and the things that we'll be doing. Just some few quick things to note. I'll try to work within the time I have to discuss some of these things and how businesses have scaled even this period as we work. So a quick one said there. Now we'll be looking at analysis, the digital opportunities, the tools, how to do your digital marketing budgeting as it even relates to HR. We happen to have an investment as a business in a company called Career Express, which scaled even during the COVID. We grew from having about 47 staff in 4 countries, and we scaled to about 68 people across the same 4 countries. At the time when businesses were shutting down, we're hiring more people. So these are opportunities that we'll be explaining how we came about them, even in the HR space. Now, the first thing is usually what is digital marketing. It's totally different from what the social media space is. We were running as an agency before, so we had very deep hands into digital marketing. We started back way back in 2009, 2010, when it wasn't even seen as a business. A lot of people were calling it internet marketing at that time. So we had gone from that phase to the next phase where we now do digital marketing at a very wonderful large scale. What is digital? Digital is all encompassing aspect of social media. And what makes it a bit dynamic is the fact that you're just taking your marketing side and you're putting digital processes to it. That's all what it's all about. So social media is that interactive side of media, of the social side of marketing, but digital marketing encompasses everything. So social media is a subset of the universal set of digital marketing. Digital marketing is not free. Um, it's not either sometimes even cost effective, but it's productive, and it's a two-way communication. So you need to have that behind your mind. So I've had people say, no, just post it on one of the social media platforms and then things will just happen. No, it doesn't work that way. Digital marketing is really not free. When you go by the books, you have to pay somebody to do the videos, you need to pay somebody to do your content development, your strategy. Working with HR companies over the years, I know, we have to develop strategies on how to, maybe if you're an HRBP, for example, you need to know how the business objective works and all of that. Same thing works in digital marketing if you really want to get it right. Now, but it's the best way looking at the way forward. Now, you have to understand this. Who are you talking to? What are you talking about? Why are you talking about it? And how do you do your digital marketing communication? These are things that we'll be covering in these conversations as we go. So this is a social media framework. So the whole concept of what you want to do, you want to handle, is at the middle. That's the concept. Then we'll talk about the ideas. Which social channels are you going to work on? Who are your target audience? and then how scalable is your business plan. So because digital marketing can start today, and by tomorrow you have 100 people in your funnel, and you can also start today and only have 2 people in there. So how do you plan to scale your business? Because it's an issue of scalability at this time. Now, that's also being said, we'll quickly dive into this. What is the understanding of the kind of content you need to put on social media? We all know about the video, we know about the audio, we know about the text. So most times people just stay within those framework and say, no, that's all we want to do. That's all we're doing. No, you need much more than that. You need more conversation. So, but these are the 4 primary pillars that your framework and your content will be working with. So you need the videos, the image, the audio, the text. So always have that behind your mind as you begin to have conversation with the larger world out there. Now, how do you identify your audience? What age range are you talking to? So we understand that for some kind of recruitment, for example, if you're dealing with HRs, they'll tell you that's not more than 30 years, not more than 40 years. They give some sort of age range. Well, you need to understand how that works in the digital space. Now they talk about interest. So one fundamental understanding also is that Facebook target based on interest, while Google target based on keyword. So if you're setting up an ad or something on Facebook, Facebook serve people your content based on their interest. What are they searching for? What do they like on Facebook? What are they sharing on Facebook? Under where are they commenting? All of that. Same thing works for Instagram. But when you come to Google ads or Google dealings, you're talking about Google My Business, Google local listing and all of that, YouTube, they give you content based on the keyword search, meaning based on what you have searched for, not based on what you have liked, not based on what you have shared, but based on what you have searched for. That's when you find certain content. Then we talk about gender. If you're looking for a role or you're looking at selling a particular service that is focused strictly for female, then you want to look at, what exactly, for example, you have a role and they said, okay, this kind of role, we want females or we want males for this role, then you're able to target based on that. Then we talk about location, then we talk about content type, content format. These are very, very important. We talked about it earlier, but we'll be sharing more light around that as we go. So talk about a quick analysis of your business presently. A quick analysis of your business presently. So what's your company? Who owns your company? How does your company work? How does your organization run? So your company needs to be clear. Then the next one is, what is your product? What exactly are you selling? Are you selling a service? Are you selling a product? Are you selling? You need to get it right. Your product needs to be something you need to understand. Now, when we talk about your product, you could go into e-content. You could talk about LMS. We've done LMS for a lot of organizations. I'm not at liberty to mention names of organizations we worked with here, but we've developed LMS platforms that have been used by over 10,000 people. We've worked with them to make sure these things are scalable, these things are workable. So I don't like to talk in the air. I like to do hands-on products. Understand that some businesses just focus on developing a particular module of the OHR space. So you need to understand, how does this also interact with humans daily? How do I understand that my content work? How do I want my tables to work? How do I want my interactiveness? For example, if you've done training on LinkedIn before, that's LinkedIn learning, you will find that they gamify their products in such a way that the maximum content you can have per time goes for 4 minutes. Then they take a break, ask you 1 or 2 questions. Now, that is because of the psychology of thinking when you are online. Anything beyond 5 minutes, you may lose the person's attention. So if you're developing an LMS, for example, you're expected to break it into smaller modules. So you do your introduction, maybe 2 minutes, you talk about the objective in another 3 minutes, then you begin to describe each part of your products in that way. Now, the pitch and all of that, those ones are other things, the tone and all of that are conversations we'll talk about. Because if I'm starting my class and I start on a very low tone, then I would not get the right audience to watch what I want. But that's not, we're not yet there. So we'll talk about, so we're looking at previous systems before COVID. during COVID and then post-COVID. Actually, we are actually at the post-COVID stages of all conversation now. And it's an evolution. It's something that has happened. It's a pure evolution that many people have not embraced, because change is the most difficult thing to embrace. You know, when you do change management, if the CEOs or the drivers are not really behind you, you have issues, especially when you go into transformation, that's digital transformation. How do they move? How do they do those migration? It's a lot for people to handle. Then let's go. What sets you apart? Those are questions that we need to ask ourselves. What sets you apart as an organization, as an individual, as a practitioner? What makes you the go-to person, the go-to organization? Because it's the people that forms the organization and then forms the brand. But we'll talk about that later. Now, understand your competitors analysis. What are the things you use to analyze your competitors? Now, I will talk a bit more about this competitors thing, because many people think competitors are maybe the guys doing the same business next door, or the same guys maybe eating the same kind of food with me or something. I'll quickly give you two distinct examples how digital marketing perceive competitors in its real light. So the first one is, there are people who assume, who think Coca-Cola, for example, is in direct competition with Biggie and Pepsi. Yes, there are other alternatives in economics. So there are other alternatives, so you can perceive them to be that first level competitors. But the secondary competitors that comes with digital is the fact that what takes the mind share of a potential person that you're supposed to engage. So when I say what takes the mind share, so I give you a very generic example again. If you have as much as maybe 200 naira in your hands, would you rather buy a bottle of Coke or buy airtime? Now, understanding that most young people at a particular age below would rather go for airtime than buying the Coke or something. They would rather go buy data for subscription. That shows that you have a competition cooking somewhere that you've refused to recognize. Same thing in this whole space of service provision. What would take as an alternative may not be your competitors, may now be other products that can serve similar use, similar purposes or make them happy. So we need to understand that also in the process of this conversation. So it's also very important that you have that behind your mind, that your direct competitors that you assume, maybe the brand, maybe one is employee, we are trying to get maybe outsourcing business, we're trying to get executive recruitment and all of that, are totally different. So what perceived need does your potential competitors answer to? So for example, you find everybody is saying that, oh, what is this class now that they always do, empowerment class, how to train people for employability skills. Now, is that the alternative skills that people are learning now, or they are learning some other digital skills? So everybody's out there throwing their baskets, throwing their nets to see as many people they can catch into their employability skill. Meanwhile, the global market is asking for a different skill. For example, I've always said times without number in most of my classes and with my staff in the office that notes that we are not in the business of developing skills for a local market. So we have business registered in the US. I saw the session before, my Inshallah, my very good friend. It's in Texas. I have a business registered there in Texas. So we talk a lot about all of those things. Now, the issue is the guys who are giving us businesses from that side of the world trust us with their brand opportunities and all that works for them. And they don't even see us. They don't know us. The best they do is to have this Skype thing, or we talk on Zoom or Microsoft Teams, and that's all. Because the skills that we have here is on demand on the other side of the world. Meanwhile, some of us still stay and center around the localized skill, studying what would work for a local market. Meanwhile, the market is opening up gradually because of this kind of changes that happen in our new system of life, in our new way of living. Now, I go to the next slide. Now, we talked about buyer persona. These are very key things that you need to know about buyer personas. So we have what is called the demography and the psychography. Now, so what are the demographies? We talk about age, we talk about status, we talk about different kind of things. Then we talk about interest, because there are things that drive people's interest. There are things that make people interested in what we're saying. So there are different kind of things. So you want to catch a monkey, they would tell you to put banana somewhere, because that is a point of interest for the banana. For the monkey, sorry, the banana is the point of interest. Now, what are their psychographies? What are the life dreams that they want? All kind of life, what kind of things drive them as a person or as people? You need to have that somewhere in your head when you're doing all of this, because targeting, especially online, becomes very, very, very good when you understand psychography and you understand all of this kind of communication. Now, if you're dealing with CEOs, you probably won't find them on Facebook. You will find them maybe on LinkedIn, or you find them on sending emails to them. Most of our biggest clients today, I can bet you, I can tell you for free, came from emails. We just got their emails from LinkedIn. We had some leads and the conversation started. And if I have time, I will show you some of the emails we send and the kind of communications we've also gotten from those emails. You meet people in a meeting, there's a kind of follow-up email that you send that will create some level of conversion. Now, that being said, you must set your goals, your short-term goals, your long-term goals, you must set those goals. Now, you quickly need to run a SWOT analysis, which I think this is a bit popular everywhere. You need to know your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunity at this time, and your future business endeavors. So when we notice as an organization that we had issues around talent retainership, because of the high demand for talent in the industry, we decided that we were going to bridge that gap and we changed our business model. Many of us, if you've never read this guy's book, Kristen, that's The Innovator's Dilemma. Many a times we find it very difficult to innovate. We find it very difficult to move around away from the current business that we do. I know of an HR company that we were doing a lot of talent sourcing with. We had about 500 people at the time outsourced. And they were the other companies that were handling some of that stuff. As we speak, post-COVID, they had gone into logistics. So some of the talents that were with them at the time are now the guys driving logistics for them. So you need to understand that the times will change. The dynamism is what you need to keep changing. The way your purpose, we know the objective, the business objective is known, but you need to keep changing how you approach the business and the life of the business. Then we quickly look at digital opportunities. What are the digital opportunities that we have out there today? So if you go online, now and you type all the, sorry, excuse me, my phone. So you hardly find where you are able to drive local talents for international markets. There are not many organizations in Nigeria that drives such. There are not many organizations in Nigeria because we are building for a local market. Now, what are the opportunities there for us? There's demand, global demand for data scientists. There are global demands for graphic artists. There are global demands for business developers that understand how digital work. There are global demands for salespeople online. We just did for one of the leading financial service company. They're into healthcare and all of that, a global brand. Just did some talent hiring for them. So we need to be able to say this is how we are driving, especially when these opportunities come your way, because there are loads of opportunities you can access globally now, because everything has become seamless. Everything has become something that you can access, I can access, we can all interact at that level. Now we talk about the tools that you need to have. I'll discuss the tools also. So what are the tools you need to have? So I give you one, for example, Hunter.io. Many people don't know how to use Hunter.io because they just feel it's one of those free things that they don't maximize. If I need to get the email of top people in a particular organization, I put in my stuff into Hunter.io. And you know what happens? I get every detail of the things that I need. I need from there. So I get every detail that I need from that particular point moving forward. That's for Hunter.io. There is Licious, where I just need email of one person from an organization. I put it in there, and all that I need, I begin to get all the contact of the people in that organization. So these are tools that you need to have. Also, you need to now know how to maximize LinkedIn. Everybody going into somebody's LinkedIn and just dropping hi, all those kind of hi, good to connect to you, really will not create that kind of conversion that you want. You need to start building relationship. That is where social selling comes in. You need to start generating content that can drive the kind of thing that you want to position yourself for. So 10 things that young talent need to know in post-COVID, or 10 things HR or recruitment guys or recruitment team need to have on their table moving forward. These are conversations that you need these tools for. Now, beyond that, there are now other kind of tools that you need to have access to. You need to have good lighting because poor imaging also causes a lot of problem this period. So the brighter people can see you, your face and all of that, the better they can trust you. Those are psychology of selling online. Those are other things that you need to also have access to. Then which social media channels do you want to start using? Many of us know about the TikTok, we know about the Facebook, we know about the Instagram and all of those places. Now, do you want to maximize it? Do you want to use it for the best of the business? Now, YouTube, for example, can start generating some serious leads for you. Just work on getting content that are just few minutes after 10 minutes. When I mean few minutes after 10 minutes, it means that you're talking about content that are between 10 minutes to 15 minutes, because content less than 10 minutes will not give you the best of yields on LinkedIn moving forward. That's from 29th of this month, they're going to change that algorithm. So you want to be at the point where people can search for. Your WhatsApp is another big point of sales for you. So, well, we don't take this thing seriously because we assume or we think that people really don't demand for it. Now, I'll quickly look at the listening tools. There are tools that you use to listen to both your competitors and other aspects of the business, such that when people mention things online, when people talk about stuff online, you need to be able to listen to what your competitors are talking about. For example, I talk about these tools here. There's something called like my X3. Those are local terrestrial app that people use to prepare what they call it now, payroll. You just do your payroll from your house and you get things done. And it can also help you with productivity tools, such that you have people who are working for you in different parts of the world, and all that happens that every maybe 5 seconds, every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes, there are screenshots of the job they're doing for you have been taken into a particular archive, and you can trace and get your hands on it. Then go do stops on HubSpot. I would strongly encourage everyone, do stops, go and study things on HubSpot. It will give you a lot of advantage. HubSpot is a place where you don't want to miss out on. Then balancing your time and being social. That is a big deal. Balancing your time and being social is a big deal. You must learn how to balance between what your time is saying and being social, because many of us get carried away when we get online. For example, if you use an iPhone help you optimize. It tells you when you are productive, when you are not productive. These are free features on those phones. Same kind of features can be found on Android. You would find same kind of features talking about how you need to have balance. So some of us go on our phones and start chatting and get carried away, or you start watching videos, you get carried away. You need to optimize your presence, your activities and what you do online. It's very, very key. Um, then a bit of your social selling. The language online is not fully the very hard research consultancy languages. They are totally different. The conversations you have online are totally different from the conversation you have on the physical note. But that doesn't play down the place of seriousness. But there are some kind of conversations you can put in jokes, you can even develop stickers for your organizations that you can share around. Then we'll talk about time management tools. So one of my mentors used to say to me when I was picking up on the whole understanding human productivity, and he said to me that I don't pay people for attendance, I pay people for results. So many people go to the office or stay online and you see them, they are there doing stuff online, but they're productive. So how do you run your time management too? How do you manage your time management? How do you track people's performance online? How do you optimize to get best results? I know we do a lot of stand-up meetings. We say, okay, now we're meeting by every day, we're meeting by 9:30 and all of that. But how productive is that meeting? Because there are step-by-step process of holding meetings online, which is a bit different from what is offline. You may yield some results. You see people talking and all of that. You may yield some results, but are you optimizing your results to get the max out of it? So there are tools that can help you. There are tools that can flag words while you're talking. Once the tool notice that you guys are saying too long on a particular, it begins to notify everybody, I think you should move to the next stage. So, and then people also want to start asking that, okay, how much am I making now? Some people's salary have been cut short and all of that, but that's not a conversation for this moment. Then your tone. Now, there are different voice tones online. There is the passive mild tone. There's a feminine tone. There's a manly tone. These are all a bit of the branding experience. So if I pick, for example, case studies of maybe the biggest banks in Nigeria, that's our local banks are the biggest as it were. If you find something that is a bit orange, you will discover that they are talking about lifestyle. The approach is a bit friendly. If you go into the people who are red or blue and all of that, you see that they are old, they are mature, they are strong voice in their communication. Then if you try to look at the new products that maybe the fintech is trying to develop now, you see that they are friendly, they are youthful, and those are tones of voice in their communication. You see the kind of images they use, the color they use, the style of design, their approach to the market. When even the kind of the songs you hear while the phone is up. But that's being said, the next one is, okay, so these are breakdown of the kind of tones and voice you can have. So your voice can be authentic, it can be funful, it can be interesting, it can be confident, it can be empathic. You can use any of this kind of voice tone for your brand. You can also do some more research so that this gives you some insight into the conversation. Now, the other one here is talking about budget. Maybe when I'm done, if I still have some time, I'll take a conversion, number of leads to be generated, number of people that you intend to have the same conversation with all over again. So these are things that you need to work on. These are things that you need to work on as you begin to develop things on budget. So budget includes different set of numbers, different kind of parameters that you want to work with. Now we go into, this is just a structure showing you budget. Now the key actions and the key things that you need to do. So I usually used to pause at this point and tell you that what are the keynotes, what are the key actions that you need to take, that write down 4 actions or 4 items that you need to take from here. So if you have any question, kindly let me know. Hello? Do we have any question?
Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
So just hold on. Let me check if Anybody have any question that they probably dropped on the swap card, and I'll post it directly for you to answer the questions. But however, if anybody have any question right now, they can probably just ask so that he can answer as well.
Okay. Um, so when you're setting up budgets, let me just quickly still run through that. When you're setting up budget for digital, as it were, you must have parameters you're going to be using to measure the budget. You must have parameter for, okay, so I can see you have your hands up. Okay, so Cynthia may,
Hello.
hello, ma'am.
Hello, Dio. Thank you very much for your knowledge and putting this together. I wanted to ask, for many of us that do not have this knowledge or first-hand knowledge on a more professional level, and we believe that we kind of have a voice or we want to put content out there. What are those like preliminary steps that you think should guide us through, having a successful, maybe if it's an online campaign or being a voice based on topics or areas or sectors you want to speak about?
Okay. You need to define the long-term objective. Do you want to become a thought leader, or do you want to use it for lead generation? Do you want to be positioned as somebody potentially, um, you want to be the go-to person for a specific solution in the market? So once you define that objective, then we're able to now say that, okay, what are the processes? There are different channels for different kind of voice you want to put out there. Some, like for example, if you pick LinkedIn as a case study, you may want to go the video way. You may say, okay, I will release one video every week on LinkedIn. I will also post maybe 2 content on LinkedIn every week. You're not going to be putting up articles. That's the LinkedIn post. You're not putting up articles. You're just putting short notes and you're putting a picture there and you're driving that. You may also want to come from a storytelling perspective where you tell stories about what your experience are, and then you bring out lessons from that story, or you use a keyword approach. So depending on what needs to be done. So if you define that, that's going to help you with very good steps on how to approach that whole structure. And also, once that is done, you will probably not need to hire a third party and the immediate. Start it first, see the market feedback, see are you creating engaging content or content that people can give you feelers for, content that people can engage you on. Once that is done, then you can now get a third party to run it for you. At that time, you are able to define what it means, how it works. This is what I did. This is what works. This is what my audience wants. So, but usually, and then if there are some extensive conversation you want to have, we can still have that. But you can also look at HubSpot. HubSpot, for example, they are one of the biggest content producers in the world. HubSpot, their first 400 hires that they did were was done with a focus that everyone must have a journalism background. Somebody who has been a journalist before must be in that team. That was what they did for the first 400 people they hired. Now, those 400 people were now converted to marketers. So they had very good writing skills. So you may want to look at it from that perspective when you're developing for the market you're looking at. You may not go hire journalists, but you may want to say, okay, these are people, maybe somebody who understands graphics or who does graphics, now begin to work with you on developing content. Become easy. Hello, Cynthia. Are there more questions? Hello. Hello. Okay, I can't hear anyone. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Sorry, I lost you for some minutes. Hello, I
Okay.
can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know if she was actually satisfied with the answer because I think someone is raising. Is someone still raising to? Do you still want to ask a question? Okay, it's down now.
I wanted to ask if maybe I sufficiently provided enough answer to that question.
Okay, okay, because on the sub card we don't have any questions at the moment. Yes. So I wanted to know if because I didn't I heard you saying hello, but I don't know if she was actually satisfied with the
Okay,
question
she,
with
she
the
had
answer
replied.
rather.
That
So she
answer.
replied, right?
Exactly.
Okay, okay, that's fine. So that's fine. Thank you very much.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for
Yes,
having me.
exactly. Thank you so much. Do
Thank
enjoy the rest of your day.
you too. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you so much.